June. There, we are live. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm here today with my friend Kirby Sewell. Kirby and I haven't seen each other in, wow, like a year, 2 years. Time is
Well, we
flying.
bumped into each other at I think just at the start of COVID at Cafe Bean over here. I live by there, so
That's right.
yeah, I did see you there that once, but of course we couldn't talk that much because we can't sit down or whatever it was the rule back then. The rules have changed so many times I've lost track.
Yes. Yeah. Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah,
How
it's
have
good.
you been?
I'm really good. Yeah, COVID has been kind of a blessing. It's like like everyone. I think I suffer from mental health issues, right? So it's like just me, right? I've come to grips with my complete humanity, especially
Yeah.
watching humanity. Watching humanity during this whole thing has been such a blessing to relate to all sides if you can in your brain. Like
Yes.
to try to look at it bipartisanshiply or like Joe Biden said today, unity, right? Like that's I don't think people and I'm not saying that people shouldn't do this, but they want an answer, right? Everybody wants an answer to what's going to happen. I
Yes.
guess I guess what I've learned is I was scared too. Like I was scared shitless for a while. In fact, I was telling my mom the world's going to shit, and you wait till you see them take over the Capitol and stuff like that. I actually said that back in March, right?
Yes.
She didn't want to believe it, right? But the thing is I could see a great divide in humanity. Um, People are super obsessed with being right, and I know what that's like because I'm human, and people that know me in my past know that I always want to be right. Like so the thing is you know not to say that I don't still struggle with that because I'm a go-getter. I go for things. I've accepted that about myself.
Yes.
It's just so much humanity in this whole thing that people are missing because of the noise. You know, the
What do you
noise
mean?
of Facebook, the noise of media, the noise of the untruths, the half truths, and I can't do anything about defamation of truth. I can't do anything about disinformation.
Yes.
I can't even claim I know the truth because there's dark and light in every situation, and it's different every time. It's for you to find something in that nugget or diamond mine in every situation or every breath, so to speak.
Yes.
Like every breath, as you know, is a gift, right?
Yes.
So so it's been a really good. I'm a deep thinker, and it's been really good to just. I think I finally rooted into my thing, my thorn in my flesh. I think I finally rooted into what it is. And I'm still working on it. We're just humans, right? We need to be more civil with each other. You know, um, I think that's the biggest thing that I would like to see. But yeah, I
How would
it's
that,
been
how does
and
that look?
musically it's been amazing. Um, I since the legalization of pot, I've been experimenting with CBD, and it's just been so good for my brain,
Yes.
like as well, just to sort the world situation out, and to have and people would argue that that's an escape, which it is, just like your Netflix series is. you know, it's just that I get a lot of value from medicine, like from the earth. I found my place where I need to be, and it's not even high THC, but it's so creative. It puts me into who I am. It
Yes.
just takes away the humanity of the layers and allows me to speak from my spirit. And the melody that comes out of that as well. So it's been COVID's been really cool, and I started a new business too. So it's been really busy.
So a minute ago, you said, that humanity needs to be more, I don't
Civil,
know what the word was, whether it was
civil,
compassionate or
civil, civil.
civil.
Yeah.
And what does that look like?
It means I'm never going to ever think the same way as you, David, because you're David. It's as simple as that. And that's what people need to understand, is that these belief systems that they have in their head are so confined to what they're taught in Sunday school for a lot of these people,
Yes.
that they're so confined that they judge and they separate, and it's coming to a head. It's coming to a beastly head of these so far apart rubber band. I'm Jesus on the cross. I'm being pulled so far right now. There's a crucifixion of religion that's happening, religiosity.
You don't think that we're evolving? Maybe.
That is evolving, though.
Yes.
That is evolving.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to be dark. I've been, as a blues singer, man, I know the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed in it. I worshipped it. I know what the darkness looks like. Right? You have to go through that. You have to stare into the abyss. You have to look into the black hole of yourself and accept it. And I don't know if the United States wants to accept that as individuals. It's all individuals. Donald Trump was the collective consciousness of us all.
Yeah.
He really was. It was a good wake-up call.
You think it's a good thing then? Obviously I would say that everything is exactly as it's supposed to be. There isn't anything missing.
No.
Nothing's wrong. It's
No.
all part of our evolution.
No.
Yeah.
The tree doesn't complain when the river washes it over.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean? But yet we think that shouldn't happen to us.
Yes.
And it's like, and it's again, it comes from religion. We are taught so that we're so special. But the truth of the matter is, the only thing that makes us special is that we can feel the spirit world. That's what makes us special.
Consciousness makes us.
Yeah, consciousness, that we have the ability to feel situations out. We have the ability to understand other people if we're compassionate.
Yes.
We have the ability to do these things, which is the only thing that makes us special. Once we think we're special beyond that, it gets really bad. And I know it myself. I'm a human. I'm well trained now, and I'm in this society, so I'm probably never going to be a true Buddhist. But but it's because I've just been ingrained in my brain.
So this last year,
this is a brain thing.
This last year, have you been listening to any particular teachers? Have you been
no
nothing at all? Like
nothing at all.
Okay.
Nothing.
So
this is all my observations of myself.
Yeah.
And see myself in everything.
So what have you been doing? You're not sitting quietly in your room. Are you watching TV? Are you how are you perceiving the planet? Are you working?
Yes, I'm working. Yeah, like I have a new business that I had to start because I lost my job in March.
Yes.
Of course, I can't sing that much. I've had the privilege to sing a few times last year, but I miss it terribly.
Yes.
And I grasped with, for the first 2 months, I was like, oh my God, I had to chew off in my head. I was going to go nuts. I had to chew off in my head, set a boundary, so to speak, for the monkey brain to say, screw you on this idea. Because otherwise the monkey brain just comes back.
Yeah.
So I set a boundary and I for myself, and it was like, okay, I'm not going to sing for 3 to 5 years. Okay. Because it just takes the pressure off.
Yes.
And it really worked well for me to be able to find my creativeness again, which I've been waiting for about long time. And
so you've been writing to music.
Yeah. God bless Neil. I mean, Neil Gunhold's an amazing songwriter. I'm in my last band. I mean, he wrote all the songs pretty much in the band.
Yes.
and he was amazing. He wrote to me, and he wrote to my state of my soul, where it was in that
Yeah.
moment. It was beautiful. It was a
Yeah.
piece of art. You know, that's what I'm talking. I'm talking about my humanity. He picked up on that. It was really beautiful, really. But then you outgrow things like that, and you want to find yourself. Like, you know, one of the songs even kind of told me that I didn't know who I was. You know, I almost cried almost every time I sang that song, because it's true.
Which song was that?
You know, I'm trying to remember the name of the song, because we didn't record it.
Yes. Okay.
It's so, or we did record it. You know, I honestly, at this point, it doesn't really matter. I've forgotten about all that stuff.
So
And
the
it's
songs
terrible. But,
you're writing now, are they quite personal?
yeah, yes. It's very much a truth record for me, coming out of myself. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also, but not so much so in like a song is about me, or the record's about me. It ties it back into what you see, the mirror reflection in the world. Like almost every song, it's more about the world, actually,
Yes.
situation. But you know, the stories that will translate into this record will be very profound for me when I sing them. You know what I mean? It'll mean something completely different to somebody else. And this is what's really interesting about music. It's like, I'm sorry if I'm talking too much.
No, this is what we're here for. This is what we're here for. We want to hear about you.
Well, no, it's just it's songs mean something different to people. I remember, and one of the reasons why I felt disillusioned in my own band was because people just, again, they view things differently than me, right? They're atheists. I'm more of a believer and a creator.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in the church,
Yes.
Which I wouldn't change for the world now. I was probably really angry about it 5 years ago,
Yes.
but I wouldn't change it for the world now, because I had a beautiful family, like, and a beautiful upbringing that was very pleasant, though, you know. And but their upbringings are completely different. Everybody's upbringings are completely different. So that's what makes us all different, which is really beautiful. It's like a piece of art. We're a collage.
We
of
are
humanity.
collage, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, so where am I going with this? Neil and the guys, like anybody in this world, can be very bitter towards the world or situations. I think they're beautiful humans and extremely talented. Just in the moments where I was really reflecting deep about what I saw about myself, and what I needed to change in myself, I couldn't be with them anymore.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it hurt me so much. Like, it was like pulling nails out of my heart. Like,
Yeah.
but you know, it's like I quit so many things, as you know, David. Like,
Mhm.
I had so much, I shed so much skin, and it's when my dad died in February, right before COVID. It was a 5 years of waiting for that, and I didn't realize how much that really hung over my head. Like, even the way it affected the way I treated people, or myself, or the band that I was in during that time when it was happening. And it's hard to watch somebody wither away for 5 years, you know. And I had to watch him, you know, be put to sleep. Like, so I knew that the next person that rang the doorbell was going to exit my dad from this world. Like, it was a profound day. Like, I don't know how to really
Yeah.
explain. It really changed me. I went on a silent retreat right before that to prepare for it, a 10-day silent retreat, and I saw some amazing things.
You did Savasana, like the
It's Vipassana, yeah.
Vipassana, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So it's the third one I've done.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know if I'll do it again. It's not for the faint of heart. But it's a personal journey for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
and it's different for everyone. Yeah.
Good
So
for you. I think, like, I think that's courageous. Going
I
one
want to define myself, man. I want to strip down the layers.
going once is one thing, but going three times is courageous, you know.
In the last 5 years, yeah, I've done 3 times.
Wow.
Yeah. But, I'm not, I think when I first went, it was an item of conversation because I fully didn't understand it. What I mean by that is I tell everybody about it. Secondly, there's some admitting my humanity there, my need to be wanting to be loved.
Yes.
I have a song on the record. It's going to be on there. It's going to definitely be on there. It's kind of like a Nina Simone kind of bluesy thing, and it's called "Give Me Something to Hold On To." And I haven't written the whole song, but the whole concept actually came to me at that retreat. Was just how lonely sometimes I am, and I was really dealing with my own loneliness, like just dealing with it. Like really stripping down where is it coming from, like sitting in that emotion, and not really judging it. Just
Yes.
like and just it just came to me like this melody came out the whole song. It was like, give me something to hold on to. I won't really belt it out for my neighbors, but it's kind of got that. It's going to be a really big belter, that way. Like,
Yeah.
And it's about that. It's a desperation that we all have to be with someone. We can't be alone. And this COVIDness, oh God, for the people that don't like to be alone, I can't imagine what that was like. Kind of be like my first silent retreat, probably. Maybe, and I think that's why we're having a lot of violent reactions to this whole thing, is because people would rather blame than looking at themselves.
Mm-hmm. Do you think, I think this, but I wonder what your opinion is. I think that a lot of people this last 10, 12 months, 10 months, say, have really been doing some inside work. I think there's,
Yeah, a lot of them have to. Yeah, that's great.
And of course, we don't hear about them because they're doing inside work,
Yeah.
and just like
Right.
you have been,
Right. No, you haven't seen me at all, hardly. I haven't been on Facebook hardly at all because I just don't want to see the rabbit hole that I can jump down and get angry in. Does that make sense? There's a lot of rabbit holes you can dance down in Facebook that could get you angry and distract you and take away the love in your heart.
Well, I suspect, but I
yeah.
mean, we're not a victim to that. I mean, if we choose that, but I
That's
think
right.
I think that what I hear from you is that this last year you've really been looking deep into Kirby and discovering, your inner oneness, your inner strength, your inner beingness. Is that
Yes.
true?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah,
that,
and that's just it's been it's taken me a lifetime to submit.
yeah.
You know what I
To
mean? I
submit,
feel
you
like,
like surrender, submit.
yeah,
Those,
like
yeah.
this just like just accepting who you are. Like
Yes.
like, and then when if you can't really accept who you are, and I'm a pretty damn big personality, and there's lots of facets, and there's lots of child in me still, like just like everybody. So I see the child in everyone.
Yes.
And it's like if you can't love the child of the person, then that's fine. Just go on to the next person. But
Often
there's some cool childs out there.
my child's quite rebellious,
Oh, I know your child.
quite rebellious, quite,
Yeah.
and yes, I have empathy sometimes for the 13-year-old in here who's afraid, who's lonely, who wants his own
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's, part of who I am, in
Right.
my psyche, and, in,
Yeah.
in my persona. But
Yeah.
my journey has been even, into this moment, this continually coming back to now, and in the now, there's then it seems to go beyond the persona, any story of me or any idea of David at all, and
Right.
so there's been some beautiful, well, it's been a beautiful year, probably the best year of my life.
Yeah, me too. Weird, eh? Like one of the
Yeah,
best. Anyway, yeah. Yeah.
of self discovery, and
Yes.
and and doing this, I do a little show every morning at where I do a reading and a bit of a talk
Okay.
and meditation
Like I
and
say, I haven't been on Facebook and stuff. Like, sorry, I haven't seen it.
it's on YouTube as well. But
Was
anyway,
it?
I've been
Cool.
doing it every morning since the 1st of May, and
Wow.
what a self discovery, because it's it's vulnerable.
Oh,
You
cool.
know, it's not really interactive. I just decided just a couple of days ago, about a week ago, that it would be nice to do what we're doing right now, to see how my friends and community are making out,
Right.
there. And
Right.
so I appreciate you coming to share and
Well,
telling.
it's been interesting. And the reason why a lot of the stuff I talked about is not easy to talk about. It's not
Yes.
easy to admit, but I don't give a shit what people think. I really don't. And the subtle art of not giving a fuck is a great book. I mean, there's a book that
What's it
I
called?
the subtle art of not giving a fuck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I really like that book,
Yeah.
and that book kind of changed me thinking about that kind of stuff. Slowly. Just like anything, when you decide to change, it doesn't happen like this. It's not like a say a prayer to Jesus thing. It's
Yeah.
it's a painful work.
Yes.
You sit in your stuff, and you just accept it. You accept the blues.
Yeah.
You accept the blues. You know.
One of the things that I've done this year is I recognize that if I'm in my own head, I'm usually in the company of a really crazy person. That's me. And
You blaming that person, or are you
no, no,
blaming?
I'm just sharing with you that. So
Okay.
I need. I've been really active in the 12-step world,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it helps lift me out of that, and to
Right.
see the oneness in the world. And I've been really active with a teacher by the name of Muji. I don't know if you've ever heard of Muji, but
No.
I'll send you a link. So I've been watching his videos a lot because he's like this awakened being,
Cool.
and I need to be in the company of people that are kind of more expanded than I, because if I'm by myself, I can sometimes get quite contracted, quite,
True.
you know,
I think camps are important, or communities are important. I actually would maybe even go look for a church again, but
nice.
maybe, but
Mhm.
probably not. But at the same, but it's kind of like back to the start of the conversation. Like,
Yes.
there's this great divide right now. Like, even amongst Christians, you watch them now. The Republican Christians, the Democrat Christians, they're like, we think differently. We don't like you. You know, they're Jesus. If you took a piece of art, like if you took an art person and you'd ask the person, the Republican guy that's way on the right, extreme right, what does Jesus looks like? He'd look like probably Rambo, right? And
Rambo Jesus.
Rambo Jesus, and then the Democrat Jesus would look like the Jesus that we grew up with as kids with the lamb and shit.
Yeah.
It's like it's like they think that way. They're so opposing. It's
Yes.
the weirdest thing I've ever seen. It's a diabolical two-headed beast that's fighting each other. Like
You think, eh?
it's very it's humanity, and
Yes.
it, and it's
I,
and it's like, so I'm saying groups, just to feel comfortable all the time is good, but I think we need to start talking to other people and really understanding them.
well, yeah, I mean, that's what for me,
The camp. We need to go into the other camps. We need to go
in,
into the other camps
in
and
the
and
12,
and understand them, like and understand the communities, and those Black communities that have been oppressed by police culture, for instance. Like, they've been oppressed by a police culture. Like, it's a police culture that has militarized these zones. Those neighborhoods are going to take like 20 years to heal, but if you go in there, like Joe Biden goes into those neighborhoods and really starts to hear their stories and hear the things and let them voice it out, and it'll allow people to
listening. Yes.
start to heal just by that process alone.
Yes.
uh, and then the police officers too have lost people, and that's why they're angry. They've lost lots of people to Black people killing their police officers. Come on,
Yeah.
it's a two-way thing here. This
Yes.
is what the whole thing. There's a lot of. I like the inaugural thing today. I thought it was really cool that we were talking today during the inaugural thing, because I don't care if there's a conspiracy or not. I don't care if there's anything. I can't control it. All I know is that I see something happening and it's pretty weird. and my business brain goes, yeah, they're probably meddling around and there's lots of untruths and power struggles, and it's not my game. It's not my
Yeah.
life.
No.
I need to build a life for myself that I can give in my neighborhood.
So, a couple of quick questions. So, writing music,
Yeah.
is it kind of like writing poetry and then putting
Well,
music to it?
I'm not good with the words, as Neil knows, and other people know. Once the songs are written, like they're kind of written already, like with like intent,
Yeah.
what they're about, and rhythms and bass lines and orchestras and horn sections and like and
You're good
vocal.
with the music side.
Yeah, that is kind of like a living organism. It just flows from you. It flows out of nothingness into creation itself. It becomes fluid.
Yeah.
I can sit for hours now and just sing melodies, like, and just record them. At one point in COVID, I actually wrecked my phone and I forgot to back up all my music stuff. I lost it all. And my first inkling was like to get upset, and then I didn't. It's just like I said to the guy on the phone, I was like, Bryan Adams used to say that if the song come back to you, then it's good. So it's like, that's my first reaction.
Nice.
So, things are working. It's getting better for me because, the music's in me. Whatever comes out in the moment is what it'll be. When we press record and what it is what it is.
Do you have a YouTube
If you're
channel?
being authentic in that moment, then you have nothing to worry about. Right?
Yeah. Do
Yeah.
you have a YouTube channel with some of your music on it?
I think so. I haven't really paid attention to that for a long time.
Okay.
I think I do. Yeah, I do have a YouTube one.
I have a question. Have you become part of the walking culture? There's a lot of us out every day for walks,
No, I need to go get better at that. I've gained a little weight, and I have gone out to the stairs in Glenbow Park there,
Yeah.
like where the Weasel Head is, and
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
it's kind of a quarter mile, and I've done that like at Christmas time. I did that every second day almost,
Yes.
but I haven't for the last couple of weeks. I got to get back to doing that. It was getting me in shape. It's getting me better shape because I did it 3 times, quarter mile, and then you go up the stairs, 30 stairs, and for me that's a workout. Like for other people, it probably wouldn't be that hard, but but that's where I'm at right now. So that's all right.
I've been doing a lot of it. I really enjoy going for walks and
Yeah.
and trying to do 5 to 7 kilometers a day.
Wow, that's amazing. I go for a walk with you.
Yes.
But I'll slow you down though. I won't be going 5 to 7 kilometers. So if you just want to go for a kilometer, just call me, okay?
Are you downtown?
Yeah.
Nice. Are you in the Beltline? Still close to being?
Yeah, like I can like look at Pat Fabino right there from my apartment. It's like right down there.
Nice.
I overlook the rich people in Mount Royal. I overlook all their houses.
Do you want to tell us what you're doing for new business?
I'm sustained. What I will say is what it does for me, because I think this is important. In the past, this is actually a really interesting conversation because that I've learned in COVID, and I knew it for a while, like the soul of money, and then I had a problem with fame, stuff like that. And it's like the soul of money. We have to attach soul to the things of who we are, right?
Yes.
And if you don't do that, right, it's just wayward. It's just, it's just out there flying around in the ether, and you get lucky and you win an award, maybe, or whatever, like, in the music world, that's what your goal is. But now it's this job is maybe seen that I will have the ability now to, because the business can move with me. What I do in the online world and selling stuff, I can be anywhere in the world and drop stuff off to be put in and sold. Okay. So there's literally cultures of people that do this now. It's arbitrage, right? It's wholesale, it's stuff, it's products I sell. So I can do it anywhere in the world. So I saw this culture and I'm like, well, that could be a band. Like you could during the day do your, make your money, And if only 5 people show up the first time you come to Brandon, Manitoba, or whatever, like, it doesn't matter. There's a store there that we shop at. There's stores where we get stuff, that we resell stuff. Like, it's a job that allows me to have the flexibility like never before, and make so much money that it doesn't really matter. Like, I can be free to give my gift that way.
Yeah.
Where before, traveling as a 5-piece band, I mean, if it wasn't for the Ironwood, Pat McIntyre at the Ironwood, like, and other bars that helped me too, but I mean, Pat was the guy that helped me the most, because he sustained his cover charge, and it was a sacred thing, and that I can make enough money to pay for plane tickets and go to the Big Blues Bender, for instance, like in Vegas, right? Like, so you could do that, but you couldn't ever plan a tour and sustain yourself, ever. So there was no frequency transaction of who I am to the people in Brandon ever. But now I can go to Brandon. I don't know why I picked Brandon, but it was this place.
Yes. Yeah.
I can go to Corner Brook, Newfoundland, which is where one of my packages went the other day. And I was like, what? I just made somebody happy in Corner Brook, Newfoundland, because they can't find that stuff in Corner Brook. That's for sure.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's like,
you've been exploring the online world a bit.
Oh, I'm more than exploring. Like, we have thousands of products in the store now. Yeah.
Okay.
There are thousands of items. I wouldn't say products, but yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really good.
Well, good for you. Well. You have a big Facebook following. I know you're not on Facebook much these days, but I think people will be happy to hear from you. If I'm going to put this on YouTube, it would be great if you put the link on your Facebook and let people know what you're doing.
No, I know I will. And no, it's been really good. I mean, talking to you, I'd like to hear more about what you've been up to. You mean, you walking? I've become a better cook. Have you cooked a lot, or
more? Yes, I don't order out.
Okay.
And I actually, it's funny, I'm eating more salad.
Oh yeah?
I was at Community yesterday buying, I'm eating more salad and
That's good.
kale and beets and yes, I'm eating healthier and
good.
And eating at home.
I eat out still, but not as much.
I was on the coast a bit. My brother had a heart attack in November, and
oh wow, sorry.
Which he survived, and so I went out. He's in Campbell River, and I spent 3 weeks kind of helping him get back on his feet, and which was it was a nice time for him and I, and nice to get away from here for a bit, and
no doubt,
because we're not been traveling a lot, but that was kind of necessary. He was by himself out there, and on the way back, I stopped into my daughter lives in Squamish, and I took the bus from Campbell River to the ferry, and came across the ferry, and she picked me up. It was quite nice and then spend some time with her and her kids and her husband.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's great, man.
But that's it. Very simple life.
Yeah, me too. Very simple. Yeah.
And this, like I think I mentioned, I've been doing a daily. I do a daily.
Yeah.
I read from a little book called the 24-Hour Day Book, which is 12-step based, and give a little talk. I had a friend commit suicide on the weekend, and I've talked a lot about suicide.
Wow, man.
And the last
I could talk to you about that. Wow. Yeah, I could talk to you about that.
And
wow.
It's there's a lot of what I found is that there's a lot of shame around suicide. A lot of families.
Yeah, it sure is, isn't there?
Yeah, and so there's not. It's got a big stigma.
It's a shame that there's a shame about that, eh?
It is a shame that there's shame about that, and I don't want to shame the shamers.
Shame.
Yeah. I do not want to shame the shamers.
Let's make a song. Let's make a song out of it.
Been trying to bring some attention to that. Like it's like, wow, it's not something we talk about. We even you know, if somebody passes away by suicide, we don't even put it in the obituary. We say died suddenly, you know.
That's right. Yeah.
It's a
It's a
hidden.
shame. What would the line be? It's a shame that you're so ashamed of the brokenhearted.
Yeah. There's
Yeah, like, like that's what it really is. It's like, it's a shame that you're so ashamed of the brokenhearted. Like, can you imagine the family? And then these people just judge it, right? Like, I remember when my dad died, even, right? Like, when my dad died, like, and I won't say who did this, but it was a family member from a Christian side, like a very Christian leaning side. And they were really, 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 like, being really terrible about sharing their fears
so you
because of
had
their
an assisted.
because of their own religiosity with my family. When my dad's just about to, go under the process of assisted
Assisted
death,
dying.
like, same thing. Like, they call up and they start spewing out their fucking religious fears
Yeah.
because they believe in a heaven and a hell, right? It's like, well, if you didn't believe in hell, maybe your mind wouldn't be so possessed with bullshit. Right?
Well,
Like,
you know,
so the thing is it was terrible. Like, these people, these religious people, like, I just can't stand it, to be quite frank. I grew up in it, and I have no patience for it because it's so fearful.
so
It's the
isn't
shame,
that
shame is such a disease in us all. Like, it's
yes?
worse than the coronavirus itself, obviously.
So Kirby,
Yeah.
how do we be compassionate for
How can I be compassionate to the other side?
yeah, well, there is no other side.
You mean the people that were judging the person that killed
Yes, you
himself?
know, because doesn't that make us
Yeah,
the same as them? If
yeah,
if I'm
I
the
get it. It gets me angry, but at the same time, that's something that I'm working on. But um, it's pretty personal when it's about your dad, right?
oh, well,
I mean,
yes,
that's why I'm a little emotional about it. But at the same time, it's like, uh, I've never talked to this person since then, and I rarely talked to her before, so it doesn't
yeah,
matter,
yeah.
right? So I don't need to. I only bring it up in this conversation because it's very similar to suicide, and I used to think that way. I remember watching The Star Is Born,
So
right?
can you say
Yeah,
assisted dying?
yeah,
Can you say it?
assisted dying.
Yes, because there's
Yeah.
even shame around that. You
Well,
know,
I mean, that's just a name that they taught me to use. It's a
yeah,
label. It's a label.
yeah,
I totally agree with you. I'm
yeah.
just using it because that's what I was told it was called for
So,
people that
but
understand.
what I mean is that here we are in a conversation, and
Yeah.
it took a long time to actually get to that sentence. You know, it's like
Yeah. I was just about
because
to say it, though. I was just about to
yeah,
say what about suicide, because a friend of mine committed suicide about around the time I moved into this place.
yes,
And how do I say this? He was like a twin flame in sales, like a twin flame
hmm
in a toxic way. And then I had to break away from him because I saw the mirror and I saw myself, and I go, like, that's not for me right now.
yes.
And then he ended up committing suicide, like, in a very brutal public fashion, to get back at his family that had basically pushed him away. He lost everything. I get that.
So
But
resentment. He was angry. He had resentment.
so I dealt with this whole thing back then.
Yes,
And right before that happened, I went, when I was in my full depression about losing my house and all this other stuff that happened to me, and bankruptcy and all these things, letting go of my band and like all these things. I went to the Stars Born, and I was super depressed. I wasn't suicidal, but let's just say I maybe didn't care if I died.
yes,
One of those things.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm turning 50, and that thing, and it's like, uh, wow, like, this guy just decided he was done. And for the first time in my life, because I had religious upbringing, and we all know what that's like. If we have these things in us, the belief systems that are still there that sometimes rise up, because we were taught that as a child, that's wrong, and he's going to go to hell. That's what I taught. I was learned that. I was taught that at
Yes.
Sunday school, or in the culture of Christianity. Not so much my family, but the culture of Christianity taught me that.
Yes.
And it's like, holy, like, this guy just decided to leave the planet, and for the first time, I understood it was just all right.
Good.
He decided that it was time to go.
Yes.
And it's a dark movie, but
But you had no judgment on him.
nothing, zero.
Nice.
I was happy for him, which
Yeah.
is weird, right? That movie would not sponsor that feeling in lots of people, I don't think.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know. I
I
mean,
think the only way we can heal the whole subject is to be without judgment,
that's
to,
right.
to
That's
be
right.
compassionate, to
That's right.
recognize that what it is that it, created in
Yeah.
us such a terrible situation that we feel
Right.
that's the only way out.
Right. Right. So my the person that did that to my family, when in the moment, the last hour of my dad's, the last hours,
Yes.
like, I would ask them a question. I said, are you giving to my family in your tone? Because if we're judging,
Yes.
we're not giving to the grievedness. We're not consoling the grief,
Yes.
right? So it's actually super selfish because you want to be heard out about your beliefs.
Yeah.
That's what people are doing. I want to be heard about my beliefs. I don't want to be here for. I don't want to know your heart and why you're grieving.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what? Like, yeah, you're right, man. Judgment just takes away everything.
Yeah. So it's tough to be, able to be compassionate with people, no matter what their judgment is, to see it as often stuckness, it's a belief. It separates us from what I call God, the
Yes.
universal intelligence.
Yes.
When I'm angry or fearful or judgmental, it cuts me off from the sunlight of the spirit,
Right.
and
Right.
so it's
It's a dark cycle, right? That's what I call
yeah.
it. I call it a dark cycle because you're letting go of that cycle. What was it? I lost my train of thought about that. But it's just
Yeah.
it's when you
Mhm.
give, it's the same cycle. You can
Yes.
you can basically live in fear, but when you're giving, there's no fear. Okay, so it's just so the thing is, nature is a prime example of that. You can watch the way nature works. It's
Yes.
constantly giving and taking, giving and taking, giving and taking. Well, when you judge somebody, you're taking from the moment, away from the moment. You're taking away from an opportunity to console somebody, like
Mhm.
that person that did that to my family. You're taking away the opportunity to console somebody. Give, like, understand their life, understand what they need.
Mhm. One of the
Yeah,
tricks, if you will, that I've learned around resentment is to pray
yeah,
for people. Um,
yeah,
so if there's something I see, I remember in my life, in my years, lots of times would have resentment with my older brother.
yeah,
And
yeah,
what I learned was to pray, and to
yeah,
pray for he would come to know God's will in his life or whatever. Just to none of my business how he lives his life, and even if it affects me, because if I was caught in the resentment, it would it was poison for me.
yes,
And
yes,
so so it was really wise for me to and this course came out of my 12-step world, but to let go of all resentment, all opinion, or all judgment I have on others,
yes,
um,
yes.
and then there is no sides, there's only
That's
one.
true. That's true.
So I feel it seems like I have to do less of that praying these days, because it just I don't fall into much anger anymore, or I'm not trying to change the world to shape, fit me. My prayers
Yeah.
that I'm just available for the moment unconditionally, like nature's unconditional.
Yes. It'll take away. Like, I'll give you a story from my my silent retreat if you want.
Sure.
Okay. So this is again back to what I was struggling with, like this resentment about my religiosity, my resentment about these belief systems that kind of took away part of my life.
Yes,
Belief systems that made me not the person I wanted to be.
because you were brought up in kind of a radical Christian family.
No, no, it was just It was just born again Christianity, and there's just a lot
Okay.
of dogma and different things, and 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 what I saw is that I thought I was special after that thing. Like, I was treated that way too by my whole family. I was very coddled, right? is Pleasantville, you know, which I liked, but you know, everybody likes that, but it's like, it's not realistic to what's happening in the
It
world.
wasn't true.
It's not realistic to what's happening in the world at
Yeah.
all. It's not realistic how people love each other either.
Yeah.
It's you know, love is unkind sometimes, right? Like, and so is nature. So here I am at the retreat, this last retreat before my dad dies, and I'm grappling with this thing that this guy said, because he, and I think he probably, I don't know, it's not about judging, it's just, I don't want to believe that. So this guy that's been passed away from a long time, that's the guru of the whole thing of Vipassana, said that if I get distracted too much, or just distracted period, in my meditation, that I'll increase my sankhara. And what that means is I won't have a chance to be reincarnated again. And I, you know, and it's a different belief system that I don't even believe that, but I go to this retreat for the benefits of meditation. But what he said though was, if I get distracted, if I'm human, right, that I'm not good enough. And this is, it's this thing that I picked up on inside myself, that one of the reasons I have a struggle with I'm not good enough is from that belief system itself, actually, that I need this fairy tale God to save me.
No.
You know, like I need this sort of thing outside myself when I found that everything is here.
Yes.
Right. You know, and it's not a judgment for people that need that. It's that I don't need it anymore. So I went and I talked to the guru. You're only allowed to talk to the guru guy that holds the thing. I told him what I was struggling with. And I told him that recently I've been diagnosed with ADHD, which most people probably don't know that because I haven't been public about that either. But I said to him, this is the third retreat I've done, and I've recently diagnosed with ADHD. And this guy said that if I get distracted, that I'm not good enough to achieve higher or whatever. You know, I'm not good enough to be good enough to pass on to the next level, or like Christianity, I need Jesus in my heart to save because I'm a wretched sinner. You know, like, you know, it's like, it's the same thing. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. The message of the world, I'm not good enough. And I just got angry, and I was just super angry, and I was nice to him and everything. And I was just like, and you know what he said to me about the ADHD thing? He goes, well, it just might take you several lifetimes. It's like, and I was just like, I was really angry. And I walked outside, and it was like, I walked outside, and it was a beautiful place, this place. Like it's in Dallas, Texas. And I was down there. It was like pasture land every morning. And there's like these blackbirds. I think they're crows. Lots of them, about 100 of them. And there's probably 200 or 300 small birds. In the morning, they'd be like Disney. They'd be like going around like this. Like, it was so beautiful. Well, it was the afternoon then when I was angry, leaving the meeting with the guru guy. And I walk outside, and I'm a little angry, but I'm silent. And I'm feeling this, and I want to understand where this is coming from. Like, I really want to understand where this is coming from. Like, so I'm sitting there. I really want to, okay? But then nature showed me, okay? So out there, out in the wilderness, like out in the pasture land, like way out there was these dogs eating this carcass, okay? And they're barking at me. They didn't like me watching them. Two of the dogs went away because they didn't like me watching. The one guy didn't care. Good for him. And he's kept on eating. Well, meanwhile, the birds are getting interested, right? So I watched these birds, the big birds, challenging the dog, and it was just this nature play. And it was just like, all of a sudden, the dog leaves, right? 5 minutes later, all these birds just go on, this like pile on this carcass and eat the rest of it, and they're fighting each other and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, there's the answer to my question about life after death, and because my dad's gonna die, and you know, it's like, just there's darkness, there's blues, there's light, there's everything. We are all of it. We don't need to judge people for being black, white, Christian, unchristian, atheist, whatever, you know. I think we just need to be kind to people, and we need a giving flow, you know, like we talked about, like that changing the flow to giving, which you're doing by doing these programs, David. So thanks for asking me in the program.
Isn't it funny, because this is exactly where you started an hour ago, is that about being kind, you know?
Yes.
And
Yes.
Um,
So that showed me that it was just incredible to see that hundreds of birds, a big black cloud just go off, and just like, wow, you know, like it was a display of, you have no control, Kirby. It doesn't matter about what happens. It doesn't matter if somebody tells you that you're not good enough, because it doesn't matter. It's just going to end when it ends.
doesn't matter. Exactly. Exactly. In the Landmark Forum years ago,
Yeah.
you did Landmark years ago.
No, I didn't do Landmark. No.
You did? But anyway, in the Landmark Forum, and one of the things that they said that they never really went into was that life is empty and meaningless.
Yeah.
And you know, that's a beautiful thing, because we can actually be here without, you know, always searching for meaning, you know,
Well, the
without
great thing about humans is they take that emptiness and meaning and make it meaningful.
Thank you.
Because it's true though.
Yeah.
It's because that's what the human brain does for us to create and co-create this universe, like, which is beautiful.
Yes, we are here living, life is living us.
Yes. You're
And,
frozen on my screen. I hope you're not frozen on the recording, but on my screen right now, you're frozen. But
no, I
that's
see.
all right. That's all right. But maybe we should wrap it up.
Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you though, but you're
Okay.
not moving. Yeah.
Yeah. I think what happened is I just took a little bit too much bandwidth. I've got 2 or 3 other things going here. So,
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully the recording worked out.
yeah, I'm sure it will. Kirby,
Okay.
thank you so much.
Yeah, man. If it didn't work, we can do it over again. But anyway, life is good. I say hi to everybody out there. I appreciate everybody so much for supporting live music. Like I think let's talk about that for a quick sec.
Okay.
Live music is going to be huger than ever. That's all I'm going to say. When you look at every pandemic or every situation like this, the Renaissance happened. The Roaring '20s was like all the big swing bands.
Yes.
That beautiful music, like such ingenuity in music happened then.
Yes.
And I think it's going to be a beautiful thing to watch and be part of the Roaring '20s again. Yeah.
Do you think we're really going to come back into live music big time?
Oh no, I think people, because they've been locked up, people that haven't been into live music will just want to.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to want to go out and blow off some steam for sure.
Nice. Well, Kirby, thank you very much. You know, and I love you, and I
love you too, man. Thanks for asking me on here.
Yeah, I support you.
I wanted to say this stuff for so long.
Thank you.
I just didn't know how to say it to people, like what's going on in my heart.
Yeah, you did.
And now I did. So
beautiful
job. Okay, cool. All right, peace.
All right, buddy.
Take care, brother.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.